I miss doing this. All right. Our feature tonight is Lisa Cottrell. And Lisa lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She was raised in the bluegrass horse country of Lexington, Kentucky. She is a poet, photographer, psychotherapist, meditation instructor, and activist. Her favorite place to read her work is Charis Books and More, a historic independent feminist bookstore that you're all inside of. Yeah. She lives happily with her partner and 2 dogs. They love to travel and enjoy the wonders of life. Y'all give it up for Lisa.
Y'all, I'm so excited to be here. As I was telling ER, I used to have a lesbian writers group, of which 3 of my former members are here with me. Jill, Charlene, Libby, and I know Deborah's online. I'm not sure who else, but we used to, back in the day, I couldn't remember what year, of course, but in the probably early 90s, we used to read at Charis. And I've been coming to Charis ever since I moved to Atlanta and moved to Little Five Points in 1981. So yes, I'm old. And I now have white hair, and I used to have short red hair, and before that short blonde hair. My friend in Paris, I went to see her one time, she's like, and what color hair should I expect? And I almost did rainbows today, but I didn't, so. All right, morning. This poem, it works a little better if you see it, because the first word is morning as in daybreak, and the second one is morning as in grief, okay? Morning. Morning loss of that distant self, running back into darkness. The eye of the heart, those feet so light and elusive. She visits me in glimpses sometimes. Sometimes I remembering her, barefoot and summery, like Persephone before all hell and winter. Still she runs from me. I am the mother who has lost her child. I am the split, the division, the pit, where all things are divided into opposites. I am the site of all birth, where the sun parts from its dark waters. And just so you know, every poem has a photograph. As Theresa said, I was raised in Kentucky, and this poem is for my grandma. Grandma runs into the room. Her clothes explode, red, yellow, orange. She brings traces of Miami, Tampa with her, as she urges, eat your peas, have some more corn pudding, some rolls and gravy. She is from Kentucky, a farm, her mother's hands. On all green vegetables we put vinegar. Her mother was from German stock. Her arms have little white scars from the war welding ships. She left her husband with another woman, and at his demand, the kids. She went to Florida. Once drove a truck of her boyfriend's 13 gears on a dare. She came back to us, a grandma, taking us to church every Sunday, to one of the nicest. She worries about everyone in the family, dwelling in the world we should be making. She gives me clothes and money. Our love was always material. She runs into the room. She forgets she had red hair, lived in Tampa, urges us to eat our peas, more corn pudding, some rolls and gravy. Intuition. A seed, a stillness, the blackness in your belly curling up to light. Thought is shorthand. How rich the curl of your breath against the window pane. The cool beads of sweat reflecting our bright kitchen. The rhythms between your chopping and my speech. You lay the knife aside as you try to see past us, expectant into the night. Invitation. Shall we crack open the day and suck it like an egg? Shall we break the day and devour it morsel by morsel? Shall we bow and meet it with a prayer? Shall we meet the day as a friend? Shall we stop, put aside the idle chatter of our mind to find a hot summer moment, sitting in a shifting, trembling shade of iridescent green as the mosquito bites us sharply and sucks our blood? Shall we wake to the day, to the shriek of the jay, the hot pink crepe myrtle blooming within sight? Let us live this day awake. Yeah. This poem, and you probably can't see it, this is my mama. And her name was Lisa Cottrell. She died on her 27th birthday when I was 5 months old. And when I was 15, I had this dream, and when I was in college in a creative poetry writing class, I wrote this poem about it. The cave. In the dream, there was a cave, a rather large cave. My mother and my grandmother were walking in the cave. I was there, watching, at a distance, but I wasn't supposed to be. I was supposed to be a baby, but I was me. They were walking in the cave, my mother ahead. She fell on her back on the rock floor of the cave. There was an even, low flame in the pit. My grandmother stood there for a moment, and she took off her white coat and threw it into the pit, her love and farewell. Then she threw her gloves. My mother lay there still. Mama, it's burning my hands. Mama, it's burning my hands. In my voice, in her voice. Then it was after she had died. Some indefinite time later in the cave, my grandmother came up to me, and she had the ring my mother had died in, and she gave it to me. When I awoke, I cried for the first time, for my mother, for myself. I'm not going to read this long poem in here that's literally everything I know about my mother. It's 3 pages. Okay. Vision of a woman reborn. Grapevines entwine your arms. A sheaf of wheat caresses the golden hairs along your rib cage. Your hip, a honeyed flesh. Nipples crest your breast, expectant and fresh. The blues of night sky and morning flash through your eyes. Your hair is flying, though you are motionless. You sing the chirp of the cicadas, the whisper of the aspen, the utter silence of the plain. You are calling yourself into knowing, and those who know you have forgotten your name. Your lips are still, recalling plums and pomegranates. The breeze whips away memory, laughs and cries, strumming and tuning your heart to its vibration as it spins and dances through the 1,000 million stars and warming rays, a drop of dew on the spangling web of creation. This one's untitled. When spring bursts forth from the dark ennui of winter, a sprout breaking through the seed's hull, pushing through the damp earth for the light, I find myself rejoicing in the simplicity of sunshine spilling through the window into my bath, where I lie stretched out, relaxed and invigorated, simply happy to be alive, like a bear leaving her winter den, sniffing for fish and honey, ready to eat wild huckleberries and roll in the grass. The pulse of the creatures of the earth quickens as they ready for bloom and sex, the fruit they readily offer, key to the survival of their kind, as what you can offer is key to ours. called In a Desert Dream or Sex with Georgia O'Keeffe. The scarlet light arches in the distant curve of your shoulder, echoing mountains, sunset. The wind sweeps between us, my hand following the wind-worn ridge of bone down your hip. Echoes of thunder, crying birds, aching for the sudden cloud burst upon my tongue, seeping into the earth as we cool like sun-spent lizards on the dry ground. There's a couple of poems in here that, depending on which poet I admire, I listen to, may or may not be poems, but I really didn't want it to say poems, photography, and a few other things, so. Okay. There's a place in your heart where presence dwells. That is your true home. Go there. Give yourself permission to enter. There is a flower in your heart blooming in sunlight. Seat yourself there. There is a place in your heart where your mind is not sovereign, but is a trusted advisor. When you seat yourself there, you walk differently in the world. You see differently. The heart has a wisdom that is larger than yourself. It is quiet and peaceful there. Go there. It is your true home. I'm having so much fun. Okay. After the memorial service, the night offers herself to me, calling me out of bed urgently. Rushing down the stairs into the yard, to the darkened grass I go, barefoot and gowned, and enter the cool night air of this June day. Clumps of dirt and sod beneath my careful feet, trees silhouetted against a dark gray sky, adorned by yellow blinking fireflies. A neighbor's newly festooned lights and lanterns strung from tree to jungle gym, one white balloon still hanging. The chirping hum of crickets in an otherwise silent night, the blackness close and breathing a spacious embrace. I see, I feel, I hear you. I want to kneel and kiss her now. So in love am I, so alive, not ready to sleep. You are home. There's nowhere else you can be. You are here. This is it. Don't miss it. Okay. When everything is precious, you aren't careless with that glass jar on the counter, knowing the heat that went into it, the miles it traveled, knowing your city won't recycle it. You remember when people living with dirt floors would have valued it, and yet your life is full of glass and plastic. Peanut butter, shampoo, things you need, come in little containers, little conveniences that inconvenience the planet, the animals, the little items that warm the planet that is burning. That little jar is indicting you and your society for a life lived in forgetfulness, forgetting the interconnection of all things and the impact of our smallest choices. Okay, 2 love poems. Love poem. And the moon echoes her cheek, currents of black breezes rise and fill the infinite sky. In stillness and light she touches me, and I, my heart, spirals to meet her, wordlessly, breathlessly, the hum of wanting and meeting in midair, midlife, mid-stride. This The next poem I want to dedicate to my sweetheart, my partner, my spouse, Miss Carol, who's sitting back there. I had to embarrass her a little. New Love in Winter, back 21 some years ago. New Love in Winter. The fog rises from the creek bed, its flow caressing the mountain greenery. Laurel, rhododendron, yellow-green clumps of lichen, bare winter tree limbs covered with silver and green moss over this windswept mountaintop, where new wood cabins crouch, their green tin roofs and spacious porches hold visitors from the city in the rain and drizzle this Valentine's Day, anticipating hot tubs and fireplaces, the warm pine walls and floors welcoming. We stand on the back porch between human and nature, at home in both worlds. You stand tall behind me, your arms around me as we both look out and in to the wonders of the world and each other, the soft feel of you against me. A gentle kiss to the back of my crown makes me tingle, anticipating our future, enjoying this moment. The rushing of the water crystal clear and a foot deep as it plunges over rockfall, bird sounds muffled by the roar. We have come here to love each other intentionally and full of care, like the red-tailed hawk. We find pleasure in circling and gliding on the currents that helped bring us here and carry us along. We are at home here as much as any other wild animal, raccoon or bear. We kiss tenderly and move inside. If I have time for one more, my friend, Miss Carol Harder, I just wrote this week, and she's like, I want to hear you read your new one. So this is for you, Carol.
Thank you.
When your life review isn't going well, the ways you hurt your children, the ways you hurt yourself, the fact you didn't have children, the fact for much of your life you acted the child, the fact you didn't get a childhood, the ways you spent too much money, the times you did too much, the times you did too little, the hours spent in front of the television, the hours spent not being creative, the times you weren't kind, all the longings you didn't fulfill and those you did, all the focus on the what ifs and should haves, all the focus on the negative, the ways you judge yourself, the ways you judge others. I wonder if you could drop the stories, just feel the life force in the body, right here, right now. The emotions, the sensations, opening out and connecting with what is, letting whatever wants to be expressed be, whatever wants to move, and forgive it all. Thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely. And you can pick up your copy of Life as I've Known It, Poems and Photography at the counter.